So we are so excited to have all of you on. And as I said, I mean, we had so many registrations for this event. There was so much excitement around seeing Patrice speak. And we've had so much excitement around WOCAN as well. I mean, we are nearly at 300 members now, which is just insane. I mean, this was just an idea that came about from four of us, this past summer. Never could we have imagined that it would gain this momentum this quickly. And the reality is that four of us knew each other in the industry, but I had no idea there were so many women of color that worked in automotive. And so for me, that has truly been a gift. And it's also been a gift to find so many allies that have supported us in this cause as well. So we thank you all. The WOCAN Speaker event is about highlighting influential, powerful women of color in the automotive industry, because we believe that it's important that you see it in order to be it. And what better day to say that statement than to say it on Inauguration Day, when the first woman of color was ever elected as vice president. So it is so telling. I see some of you clapping. I wish we could all clap on Zoom, but that's not possible. But it's crazy and it's amazing. And I told my 10-year-old this morning, I said, maybe it was your birth that caused all these firsts, but like it's for my children to be able to see all these firsts that I never, ever, ever thought would be possible, like even in my lifetime. So such a great day, and we're excited to have you here. So we want to jump right into it, and there's a couple announcements we have to make, and I want to start by just introducing our founders. As I mentioned, all of us kind of ran into each other at different events in different ways, but we're glad we found each other, and we come from different sectors. And I'll start off by just saying hello to our speaker of today, Patrice Banks. She's our co-founder and she's the CEO of Girls Auto Clinic, and you guys are going to be blown away by her story. Patrice, just unmute and say hello or say something.
Oh, God.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I really appreciate everyone being here on such a really important day. I know there's a lot been going on, but this is going to be a great event, I promise.
Absolutely. And then I don't know if Amanda is on. Amanda, are you here yet? Okay, I don't think she's on, but I will introduce her. She will be here any second now. Amanda Gordon, she has been in the auto business for over 15 years. She is a CEO of Gojo Auto. It is an independent car dealer in Denver, Colorado. She is working deals this very second, which is why she is late. But I got to tell you, she has first of her own. She is the very first Black woman in the state of Colorado to have a dealer license, which is just insane. So she is breaking barriers. And Sandy, thank you. Is it the snaps that we need to do? Right? Okay, we're going to start doing the snaps when we can't all share our voices on Zoom. So Amanda Gordon. And then last but not least is Erica Wells. And Erica is the glue of the bunch. I mean, seriously, without her, I don't know if we would be together. I mean, she really pulls us all together. She is a leader in this business. She is in management at a franchise dealer. And she is guiding a big team, has had her own amazing accomplishments and awards as a manager on the franchise dealer side. Welcome, Erica. Erica, you want to say a few things?
Absolutely, pleasure to be here. And thank you so much, Carrie, for that warm welcome. And don't forget to introduce yourself, because you have a lot of great and amazing things going on. And we don't want to forget about our hostess with the mostest, who's doing a phenomenal job of putting this event together. So I'm super excited to hear the event tonight.
Thank you. And thank you for reminding me to introduce myself. It looks like I should change my name on Zoom. It says WOCAN. I promise you my name is not WOCAN. My name is Carrie Wise. And I've been in the auto business for 20 years. I am a VP of marketing at TrueCar, which is a car shopping website. And I love this business, and I'm really happy to be here. So we're going to jump right in. That's our founders. As I mentioned, Amanda will be with us later. And I want to pass it off to Erica, who has a real passion for scholarships and giving back and making sure that women of color have opportunities. And we have an important update on our scholarship winner.
Yes, so this is a slide of Cassie Hernandez. So
Oh,
earlier this fall, we did a scholarship where we gave away $1,000 and a scholarship to a College of Automotive to the Leadership and Management course. And it was so hard. We got all these amazing videos from all these women in automotive who were vying for the scholarship. And after a grueling night, we couldn't even decide on one winner. So we picked four. Yes, we had four scholarship winners. All four of them were able to take the College of Automotive leadership course. And then our grand prize winner, which was Cassie Hernandez, got the $1,000 mentorship from our very own Patrice Banks and an autographed copy of her book. And we are so excited to keep following her journey and had a great update that she is now part owner of Overseas Garage. She had worked her way up from the receptionist to a technician. She worked at the front desk. Soon she was writing service. And next thing you know, she was able to buy out the company and be part owner. So we are super excited to follow her on her journey. She is a WOCAN hero of ours, and we look forward to seeing what other things are going to come with her and her story as we continue to follow her journey.
and Erica, I heard from a little birdie. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's snap for that. Let's snap for that. Yes. And I heard, and we might not be able to announce all the details, but there's another scholarship that's coming. Is that true?
Yes, I'm so excited. It's like beaming out of me right now. But I'll tell you this, last time our scholarship started with $1,000. This time the scholarship is $20,000. We're giving a 4-year degree to one lucky member of WOCAN. So if you've been thinking about going back to school and just not sure how you could pay for it, if you're considering automotive as a career field or you're already in automotive and you're thinking that this just may be your lucky break, stay tuned because we have some phenomenal things coming in 2021 and this scholarship is part of it.
Yes. And by the way, snap, snap, snap. And by the way, Cassie, I see you on, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but like share with us, what is it like to be the owner?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm like, don't really use Zoom that often. I literally just got home. I was like racing home. Me and my partner carpooled today. And so it's been crazy. It's just two of us. So after the new year, we've been blessed to have so many cars coming in and lots of business. So it's been really busy, and I'm trying to finish the College of Automotive too. I was trying to finish it before taking over, but it like the end of December was just so crazy trying to get everything finalized with the shop and the business licenses and the Hasway stuff, and there's a lot. So, and it's a lot of learning as I'm going, like certain things like tax stuff and
No,
all
we
that fun
understand.
stuff,
Well,
there's like a whole
take
laundry
your
list.
time. Like you got
Yeah.
bigger. I know you got bigger fish to fry running the business. But
Yeah.
I know that the scholarship hopefully will help you, in terms
Oh
of
yeah.
preparing you as an owner and making you even better than you already are. So we're so happy for you and proud to have you as a member of WOCAN.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy for the recognition and thankful for everybody that shared the story and our business post for when we first took over. So that's amazing. Really thankful.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right. So we want to thank our sponsors. And, this has also just been something so amazing that companies would reach out to us to want to help us, to want to support us. And first of all, I want to acknowledge our very first sponsor, which happens to be my company, TrueCar. And, just because I worked there didn't mean that they had to sponsor WOCAN, and they did. And they're very committed to improving diversity, not only at TrueCar, but within the industry. So we want to thank TrueCar. And then we have an announcement. We have a second sponsor. I am just excited out of my mind because this is a big manufacturer. This is a well-known manufacturer that has so much respect in the business because they support important causes. And WOCAN is one of them, and they stepped up big time. Gold sponsor is our highest level sponsor. It is not a cheap sponsor. And and they stepped up to the plate. And so I want to thank Subaru
Ooh.
as our second sponsor. Come on, snap it up, snap it up. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm so excited the day that they called me. And when I say they called me, we didn't call them to beg them or have to put a pitch. They were one of the very first companies to reach out to us within only a week or two of launching. And it says a lot about who they are, because the reality is that when we launched this, we didn't have our stuff in order. We were still going through our nonprofit process. We were still organizing, and for them to have faith in us, to support us, says a lot. And so we are so happy. And I want to welcome Karen Jordan and Peggy Verdi. And I think we have a few others from Subaru who are on here, but Karen, I know you're on. If you unmute, why was it important for you to sponsor us?
Yeah, you know what? So Carrie, thank you so much for the warm welcome. And I have to be honest, we are simply thrilled to be able to partner with WOCAN. Cannot tell you how happy we are. And, I think what might be helpful is if we share a little bit about Subaru and kind of who we are as a brand and as an organization. I think it might kind of shed some light onto why we think that this partnership is so critically important for us. So when we're talking really about Subaru, we really do believe that our differences make us stronger. And we recognize that each and every one of us has a unique story and a special story, right? And it's kind of such an honor. I feel like we're sitting here on this call and we're listening to all of these fabulous stories that you're sharing, and it just kind of feels right at home for us. So we do think that these stories, and they're really based on your lived experiences, right? And they really allow us to learn from each other, which is what we're doing tonight, really being able to offer unique ideas and truly add value, right? So when we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion for Subaru, it really is core to our culture, and it's an integral part of what we call the Subaru Love Promise. And our Subaru Love Promise is really our vision to be able to show love and respect to all people at every interaction. And so for us, honestly, much more than some other companies where things are just words on a wall, right? It really is truly foundational for us. And it's really how we make decisions and how we trust and respect each other as human beings. And so, gosh, it's been quite some time now, but our organization set out on a journey quite a while back to foster and develop a more inclusive and diverse culture. And we've made some progress, but in all transparency and honesty, we have more work that needs to be done, right? So it is truly our vision to be able to integrate diversity, equity, and inclusion into our business operations and into our daily interactions with others. And I'm looking at all the folks on the call, and we recognize that automotive, very male dominated. And quite frankly, when we first learned that there was an organization that really was committed to supporting women of color in the automotive industry, we were not going to pass it up, right? We said this is right in line with where we want to be and an organization that we want to support and who we are. So I have to be honest, thank you. Thank you for including us. And quite frankly, we are proud and honored to be a part of the WOCAN family. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was amazing. And I think, our allies and our sponsors are so important. And Subaru and TrueCar, are going to be a part of the foundation of WOCAN. They are going to be a part of our story and what really helped us to launch this. So thank you so much, Karen, and to Peggy. I know Heather, I think, is on, and there's a few others from Subaru that are on this call, and really appreciate all of your support. And we're going to jump in. Amanda Gordon, by the way, I just want to say hello, and I see you on there. We talked about you earlier. Amanda's our co-founder. I see you've joined us.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. I told them you were busy selling cars and running, a massive organization. So good. Well, we're going to jump right into it. And Erica, I think I'll let you introduce Patrice, because I think you have some of the best stories of Patrice. So why don't you take it over?
You might be able to connect.
I love me some Patrice. I've got to tell you of how I met Patrice. You won't believe this, but this is the power of networking. This is the power of WOCAN and memberships and people meeting people. So my girlfriend Jasmine says, hey, there's this woman in Philadelphia who's opening a car repair shop. And I'm like, wow. And she says it's all women technicians. And you can get your hair done and your nails done while you get your oil change. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Who came up with this? What brilliant mind made this happen? And she said, let me show you her Instagram. So we look at the Instagram and she's like, she has a grand opening next week in Philly. Let's go. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's go. So next thing you know, we are jumping on a plane, flying to Philadelphia, have never met this woman in our life. We get there the night before and we knock on her shop door, literally just like strangers. Knock, knock. She comes out, she's like, hi, how are you guys? We're like, hey, we're here from Atlanta. We're coming to your grand opening tomorrow. But because we know it's going to be super busy, we want to say hi to you today. Is that okay? She welcomed us with warm arms. She brings us in. She says, forget your Airbnb. You guys can stay with me. I'd love to have you at my grand opening. The event was absolutely phenomenal. And the next day, she takes us to the White House with her. Okay, right after her grand opening, she has an event where she's speaking at the White House on women entrepreneurship. And she says, hey, ladies, if you can stay an extra day, which I really couldn't because I'm in automotive and I had to get back. But I'm like, who can pass up going to the White House? So 4 years ago, she actually sent a letter to the White House to get a security clearance the night before her event. We got with her girls in the shop and we literally drove from Philly to the Capitol, got into the White House. I'm sitting in here like blown away with this woman I literally met 24 hours before that and had the most phenomenal time just listening to women talk about leadership and contracts and how we need to get out here and get this money. And we're sitting literally in the White House. Ever since then, me and Patrice have been thick as thieves. And I'm so inspired by her story every single day. I am so inspired by her passion, her tenacity, her love for women, her love for the automotive industry. And this epic day today, when we have a woman of color in the White House, and I remember being in the White House with Patrice, I couldn't pass up on sharing this story with such a phenomenal woman, a part of WOCAN, one of our girl sisters, and your new auto girlfriend. I am proud to represent and proud to introduce you to Patrice Banks.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an
Yeah, we'll
intro.
Whew. Bring it down, Erica. She's amazing. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I'm always so uncomfortable being introduced. I don't really like a lot of praise. One of those people that's uncomfortable, like, oh my God, don't talk about me. But thank you. That was such a fun weekend. In fact, I think you just shared that story on Facebook, like a memory from it, from some pictures that we had. It was crazy too, because we got locked, our car got locked in, our rental car got locked into the garage and we couldn't get it out. We somehow snuck it, stole it out. And I don't even remember how that happened, but it was a wonderful memory. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, Carrie, I can't see my slides. I don't know what happened. Did I change something? Gallery.
I can pull it up for you.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and pull it
So
up.
are you gonna give me presenting rights?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me give you presenting rights. Let's see if I can do
Alrighty.
that. And then I will.
Thank you everyone for showing up. This has been such a wonderful, peaceful day. Thank you, Lord. And I don't know if anyone got any work done today. I know we were really busy at the repair center, but I had the news on and was watching the inauguration. And I know this is not the most important thing, but man, did these ladies look fly with their coats and their gloves and their masks. I was so happy to see everyone wearing masks. That was really exciting and refreshing. But while you're pulling this up, Carrie, I get started because I know that people are going to want to watch some more stuff. So we'll just talk about me and my story.
Yeah.
Some of you have heard this, some of you know me. You may have seen my TED Talk where I talk a little bit about my story. I love talking about it because it's very unique and how I got into automotive. I called myself an auto airhead, and I was an auto airhead. A lot of people think that because I'm a mechanic, that I had a dad that was a mechanic, or I grew up, in the automotive industry, which isn't true. I was actually raised by a single mom. She's on, I think, right now. What's up, Robin? And we didn't even have a car growing up. We walked, we took the bus, we had to get rides from people. In fact, I was the first one to get a car in my family, in my household, when I was 16 years old. I wanted to learn how to drive. I wanted to have a car. It definitely represented freedom for me and getting away from my small little hometown of Phoenixville that I grew up in. And I was also the first in my household to go to college. I went to school to be an engineer. I really liked math, but ultimately I liked to solve problems is what I found that I was really good at. And so I grew up a minority. I'm Black, my mom's white, my dad's Black. And I was always one of the kids who was the only minority, the only Black person in class, sometimes the only girl in high school and in college. And I learned a lot about being in that space very young. One of the things is believing in yourself. There wasn't a lot of people who looked like me when I was in high school, and a lot of like AP classes. And then when I went to college to be an engineer, there definitely wasn't a lot of women, and there wasn't a lot of minority women. I went to Lehigh. And it reminds me of this quote from Michelle Obama, where she talks about she's been in some of the most powerful rooms in the world and sit at the most powerful tables, and the people there are not that smart, and that to learning that you deserve to be here, you belong here. And I learned that being in these spaces in high school and college where there wasn't a lot of people who looked like me, and you may feel a little bit intimidated or scared or that you don't belong here, but I felt a sense that this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I belong, and my voice needs to be heard. I felt a responsibility. And one of the things that I also did in college was just try a lot of new stuff. I rowed crew. I joined the crew team. Crew is rowing, and do you have the slides, Carrier?
Yeah, I can pull them up on my end, but I don't know if I can.
Is everybody seeing them or no?
Yeah, let me share it right now.
Okay.
Okay, you see it?
And I'll just have you click through the slides.
Yeah, that will work.
You guys can see my pictures.
All right.
Next one. Okay, so this is young Teese, right? And I rowed crew in college, which is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It definitely prepared me for being an entrepreneur. I had never rowed crew. I didn't know one person that rowed crew. I'd never played a varsity sport or, in high school or at college. I knew nothing about this team or this sport. And one day the coach came up to me in the gym and said, "Hey, do you want to try it?" And I thought it looked kind of badass. And I told her no, because I don't want to wake up early at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I knew the team did that. And we're going to talk about that a couple more times this presentation, me being not an early bird and not waking up early. But she said, "No, don't worry about it. We practice at 4 p.m. And I joined the team that first year. I made the top boat, and we won gold medals that year. We won the Dadvales in Philadelphia. And this is something that, I never would have thought to done if the coach didn't come up. I kind of thought it was cool, but if she didn't come up to me and say, "Hey, do you want to try it?" I wouldn't have done it. But for me to not know anyone on the team, to never be introduced to the sport, to not even play the sport, and just throw myself into something like that and say, "Hey, I'm going to try this out." And it turns out I was really good at it. But I used to do that all the time too when I was young. I signed up for the basketball team when I was in like 6th grade, the only girl on the team. I was trying out playing musical instruments. I tried out different sports in high school I really was not good at. And so it gave me the courage to do something that I wasn't following friends. It wasn't something I knew other people were doing, or my mom or my family members were pushing me to do. It was something I thought I would try, and it turns out I was really good at it. So that's one of the things I learned very young, is the importance of believing yourself, trying new things, and also understanding that you belong here. I was one of the few Black people on the rowing team. I think there was one other girl, and it was a great experience. We eventually did have 5 a.m. practice. She kind of tricked me when we went and rowed in the spring. We woke up every day at 5 a.m. and I still don't know how I did that. It was really hard for me because I've never been a morning person. And so we can fast forward now. If you want to go to the next slide, talking about a morning person and working at DuPont. I then, out of college, went and worked for DuPont my entire career. For 12 years, I was an engineer there. And I had a really great career with DuPont. I started out working in Texas, then West Virginia, and in Delaware. I worked at plant sites where my harness is on backwards, don't make fun of me. I climbed into big tanks that held hydrochloric acid. And I also worked in a lab where I did failure analysis, trying to determine how parts on our plant sites failed and how we can prevent that from happening again. And one of the things I learned the best at DuPont, one is having mentors. I had several mentors at DuPont. Again, I was the only woman, the only Black woman in my group. And there were a lot of people that were saying, "Hey, since you're the only one, we want to help you." And I took advantage of that. I had more than one mentor, depending on what I wanted to ask advice on, or what the position that I was in, whether it was technical advice or career advice, or just advice on how to deal with a coworker. I was always out seeking help from other people on what I should do at DuPont. I wasn't one of those people who had a job that I went up the corporate ladder like this, and nor did I care. There was many times I told my boss, no, I'm not taking a job they wanted me to take because I knew it wasn't something I would enjoy. They do that a lot in corporate America sometimes, where they think, well, this is the next step up. This is what you need to do if you want to make it to management. And I was the type of person that said, I don't think I'll like that job. I know I won't be good at it. I don't want to take it. I had my boss come up to me before and talk to me about working on longer hours and working on the weekends. And I was always one of those people who stood my ground and said, listen, this is who I am. I like my job. I want to be good at what I do. I want to work with people that that are smart and that I can learn from. And that was what's important to me, is showing up every day, trying to do that. It wasn't working these late hours and getting a bonus. I wanted to be fulfilled at work. And I only took jobs that allowed me to be fulfilled at work. And I didn't have a problem with saying no. So one of the things that I learned at DuPont was just the importance of, following your heart and what you think is important for you to do and to learn, and not what other people are telling you to do for your career, because you think it's going to help you make more money, or you think it's going to help you, get that management position or that management job, because ultimately you won't be happy. And what ended up happening for me at DuPont, even though I had a great career, is I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I talk about how I didn't like waking up in the morning, and for 12 years, it was snoozing my alarm every morning. It was looking forward to Friday. Even though I had a great career, I wasn't fulfilled working there. And I didn't know how to find that thing. I hear from women all the time, like, how do I find my passion? How do I know what's for me, right? I didn't know what was for me. I was just very lucky that I had a really great job. I worked for a great company and I made really good money because I was an engineer. But I wasn't happy and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so if you want to go to the next slide, how I came up with the Girls Auto Clinic idea was this. I lived in Delaware at the time and I moved to Philly. And when I moved to Philly, I just went up and just left. I owned a house in Delaware and I said, you know what, I want to be in it more. I'm in my 20s and I wanted to be able to be in a city life type of girl. Sex in the City was out at the time. That's probably why I was feeling this way, is I was going to go find my girls and be in the city and live that life. And when I did move to the city, I was introduced to so many wonderful, amazing young women who owned businesses, who created brands, who were executives working at corporations. And I was so inspired by these women. Some of them were older than me. Some of them were younger than me. And I started joining women's organizations that were in Philadelphia and meeting so many women that I was just inspired by. It was the first time, because I'm so used to being in a male-dominated field, engineering, that I'm surrounded by beautiful women who are smart, successful, and who were just doing the damn thing. And it inspired me. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do? How can I find something for me? I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I just surrounded myself with women who had found their passion and who were doing things that inspired me. And one day I was just sitting around thinking about it and knowing how I like to learn and solve problems. And I thought, I'm going to start a blog for women that is going to teach them how to do things that a man knows how to do, or they have to pay a man, or they ask a man for help. Right? Because I was a single woman, I owned a house, and often I had to call my grandfather or call a guy if I needed help with a leaking toilet, right? Or something with my car, or just anything that was typically, women don't do, you ask your dad. So I started compiling a list. I was asking women everywhere what they wish they knew. And overwhelmingly, I got my car. I wish I knew more about my car. I wish I wasn't taken advantage of. And I was like, you know what? Me too. I feel taken advantage of. I hate my experiences, going into the shop. And in fact, when I was at DuPont, one of my best friends, her name is Jennifer, she worked there as well. And on our lunch break, right? We used to take our car to this Jiffy Lube, because right next to it was a nail salon, and we would, it's incredible, the story. We would eat our Lean Cuisines in our office, and then we would go to the Jiffy Lube, we would drop off our cars, and we'd go and get our nails done. And Jennifer is like a multitasker whiz. And so, I was always just following her, like, yeah, let's do that. And, getting all this work done. And on our lunch break, we just thought we were genius. And it was kind of foreshadowing later, know, what I was going to be doing with my life and with my business. But ultimately, you know, I was feeling the same way. I'm an auto airhead. I need help. I don't like my experiences, right? I don't even like to take my car in for an oil change. I want to do something else. And so I started looking for a woman mechanic because I'm an engineer. I'm not going to be a mechanic, right? I make really good money doing this. I was not thinking about changing my life or my career. I was trying to blog for women and help women. And I even Googled female mechanic. I asked Facebook, nobody can find one. I'm asking all my friends and family. I Google it. And of course, the first thing that pops up is the 10 top stock images of women mechanics. And it's got women, you know, in their bikinis next to these muscle cars. Not very inspiring. Couldn't find any resources for women to help them learn about their cars. Couldn't find a woman mechanic. So I thought, you know what, that's it. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to learn how to work on cars. I'm going to fill this space. I'm going to create a business that's going to help myself so I can have better experiences, so I can be a smarter driver, more confident consumer when it comes to my car. And I'm going to share this with women. So that's what I did. I went back to school, Delaware Technical Community College. I enrolled at night and I was still going to work. I was still working full time during the day. And I was in school with a bunch of 19-year-old boys, and I'm 30, maybe one at this time, right? And I'll tell you, I was scared. I had never touched a tool in my life. I did not know anything about cars. Like I said, I was an auto airhead, and I'm in class with all these boys that I think know this stuff. And I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to say anything dumb. I don't want to break something, right? So I find myself kind of falling back, asking for help a lot. And the boys would push me out of the way, you know, to get in there and work on the car while I just sat back and watched. And there was a moment in class one night where I said to myself, Patrice, what are you doing? Like, this is why boys think that girls don't want to be in automotive. They think we're just here to be cute or to be seen by the guys, that we really don't like it. When ultimately, a lot of it is just the confidence level that we don't have. Here I am, a manager at DuPont, an engineer, and I'm still scared around 19-year-old boys because I don't want to mess up, right? I'm an engineer and I think I'm an auto airhead, and I think that I'm not going to get this stuff, or that I'm going to look stupid. It's crazy, these stories we tell ourselves in our head that we think are true, or that lead us to choices that are not empowered, or they're not confident. And then there's this opinion about girls. And if we really do want to be here in these STEM type roles, right, in these male dominated roles. And so I told myself, no. You know who I thought of? Sheryl Sandberg. And when she talks about leaning in, or when you hear the term sit at the table, right, I was like, I need to step up. I need to lean into this. So what if I make a mistake? I don't care if they make fun of me. I'm here to learn. If these people don't want to help me, get out of my way. I'm on a mission. And after that, you really couldn't tell me nothing. Kind of like that Kanye West song, you know, you can't tell me nothing. I was just so powerful when I didn't care anymore, including some teachers. You know, sometimes I had teachers give me a hard time, which scared me initially, but I realized what I was here to do, which was I was here for women. I was here to help solve a problem. And me falling back and not having the confidence to learn, not having the confidence to mess up, not having the confidence to ask questions is not going to get me there. So that was definitely something that was a really powerful time for me, and learning that, or thank you to the 19-year-old boys that taught me that lesson. And it allows me to do things like get up today and pitch my business to people like Damon John or Tyra Banks and some successful, powerful people, and not be afraid to be there, because I know that everything that they know I can learn. Again, like, I deserve to be at this table. They don't work harder than me. They don't know more than me, right? This is everything that I am able to do and I'm capable of doing, and I'm here to learn and make it happen. And so it allows me to bring that type of presence and confidence with me wherever I go. I love to show these pictures because these are some questions I get a lot about the beginnings of Girls Auto Clinic. One of the first things I started with Girls Auto Clinic is doing workshops. And I started doing my workshops while I was still in school. I skipped class one night to hold a workshop at the University of Delaware for a sorority. I was just talking about it to a friend, saying, I want to host workshops for women. I want to teach them. As soon as I was learning about cars, I couldn't wait to share it. Reminds me of Oprah, where she's like, once you have something, you give it away. Or once you learn something, you give it away. And I couldn't wait to share it with women. I started blogging on my website. It was still called Banks on it at the time. And she said, hey, do you want to do a workshop for my sorority? I didn't really have anything created. And it's kind of like one of those things where you say yes before you think you're ready. I didn't have anything, but now I was like, oh crap, I got to get something ready. And this is the picture of the first Girls Auto Clinic workshop. It wasn't even named Girls Auto Clinic at the time, at the University of Delaware. I took my sweater off, but this is what I wore to work that day at DuPont. And the other picture is of me at school. This is where the inspiration for the logo came from. One day I was at school and I had to work during the day, and I wore slacks and I had black heels and a sweater, and I forgot to change the clothes for class. And I lived in Philly, but I went to school in Delaware, and there's no way that I was going to miss class and have these boys, learn more than me. So I just put a hoodie on over my blouse and got underneath the car. We were taking out starters that night, and somebody snapped a picture of me with my heels coming out. And I posted it on Facebook at the time, and it was the most liked photo I'd ever gotten. And so like about a year later, when I was thinking of the branding and what to call the business and to do the logo, you see the one on the left, that's the original logo for Girls Auto Clinic. And then the current one that we have now. And this is where the inspiration for it came. A lot of people thought that I was, trying to purposely to be sexy and create a heel and say that, women techs have to be sexy, which is not the case. I was telling people there's so much of Patrice Banks up in Girls Auto Clinic. I like to wear heels, right? I wear heels because I am sexy. I like to feel sexy. I like to feel feminine at times, but I can also put on my boots and work on cars if I want to, or I could also work on cars in my heels, which you'll see me do in my workshops coming up on the next slide. So what do we have? Girls Auto Clinic beginnings. So after I'm free, yeah. So here we are where I left DuPont, 2014. I finished school, and I know that my goal is to create a business for women that's gonna educate them and empower them through their cars. And I'm telling people I wanna have a shop that's gonna have female mechanics with the nail salon. I don't really know how I'm gonna do that or where I'm gonna find the female mechanics, but I know it's not gonna be working at DuPont. And so I knew eventually I was going to have to leave, and which is scary. I get this question all the time. How do you leave a job? Especially I was making 6 figures, going to working as a technician, just starting out. I think it was like $600 under the table. I found this shop called Keller's Auto about a year into me going to school, and I was calling around asking shops. I wanted to work. I wanted to learn and work on cars, learn how to run a business. So I would randomly call dealerships or businesses I found near me and say, my name is Patrice. I'm an engineer. I want to learn how to work on cars. Here's what I'm going to do. Super excited. I'll work for free. I'll offer you any of these services, right? I'm an engineer. I'll give it to you for free. Just have me learn. I was turned down by several places. Actually, they thought I was going to steal their business. They didn't think a girl was serious about this. One guy's wife didn't want me working at the shop. But I finally got a yes from a shop. And I was really excited to start working there. And one of the places that said yes to me was Keller's Auto. And these 2 pictures of me working there. And I worked for him for free while I was still at DuPont. I would leave work early. Like I would get out of work at like 4:30 and go there right after work. And they were there till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I'd go on the weekends and whatever they needed help with. And one day he said to me, he was having a really busy, frustrating day. He had a coworker that kept calling off. And the owner said, do you want to work for me? And I thought, okay, this is it, Patrice. You're either going to work full time and learn this, which means you're going to have to quit your job and take that leap. And so that night I kind of thought about it and meditated on it. And I said, this is it. I need to do this. And I went in and told my boss the next day that I was leaving, and that nobody at DuPont knew what I was doing. I was in school for 2 years before I told anybody that I had this going on. And so I told them, and everybody was really excited for me. They were really happy. Most people said, Patrice, I'm so inspired. I've worked at this company for my whole life, and yes, it's been a great company to work for, but I would have never had the courage to do what you're doing. And I think it's really inspiring. And I was shocked to hear that. It kind of made me feel like I was doing the right thing. And it's not that I didn't wake up at 2 a.m. and think, oh my God, I just quit my job. Oh my God, I'm going from 100K a year to, $600 under the table a week. But what I realized, remember I talked to you about snoozing that alarm, right? Looking forward to vacation. I knew I could not spend the next 30 years of my life like this. That was the biggest risk that I would be taking. Then quitting a job to pursue a passion or to pursue an idea or a dream that I had. And if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to being an engineer. You can always go back and fall on your strengths and what you've built and trusting in that and believing in yourself. And so that's what really pushed me forward, is saying, I need something different. This cannot be the next 40 years of my life. I do not want to snooze that alarm. And I almost didn't start this business because I always heard about the late nights and early mornings, and I'm not a morning person. And I thought there's no way I'll be waking up at 5 a.m. But listen, I don't even need to set an alarm now. Girls Auto Clinic wakes me up. You can ask the girls. I'm working late at night. I'm up in the morning, and it's not because I'm like, oh, this is so hard. It's because I'm inspired. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on my website, and I got to send out these emails, and I got to have a meeting with this person. It's just exciting to be able to have something that you can really call your own. So if you want to go to the next slide, let's talk about building up to the repair center. So I quit my job at DuPont, right? This is in 2014. The repair center doesn't open until 2017. So what am I doing for these 3 years? Where I was doing my workshops. I started these workshops, I told you, at the University of Delaware, and I made a plan to do them every single month. It started in 2013. Every month, every second Saturday of the month, I did them. I never missed a workshop. The first time we missed one was during COVID. And I would just hold them in a parking lot. I would send out, stuff all over social media. And when I first started doing this, two people would show up, 2-3 people for like out of 30. I'd have 30 people RSVP. They were free, and that's probably why only 2 people would show up. But it was part of my core value to offer these workshops for free. I wanted to give women this information that I knew that they really needed and that they were dying for. As soon as I was learning this, I'm like, this isn't rocket science. You need to know this, and you can learn it. And I couldn't wait to share it. So I was excited to do this work. And like I said, every single month, 2 people show up, then 3 people, maybe 4 people. Now these workshops are sold out. I have women that fly from around the country to come to them. I'm very highly sought out of to do these, and I can't expand my workshops just right now because I'm working on the repair center, but it's something that we plan on doing. And people always say to me, Patrice, you're such a good speaker. You're so good on camera. When you go up on Good Morning America, or when you're up on stage, and you're a natural. And I say, no, I'm not. The reason that I'm able to do this and I can talk at a drop of a dime, I didn't prepare anything for tonight. I just get up and speak. Every time I'm on stage, I just get up and talk what's in my heart. It's because I do these workshops. When 2 people showed up, I'm on my heels, on my feet, on my heels, 3 hours doing a workshop every Saturday. Never missed one. And now it's easy to me. It's not because this was something that I just naturally did. I worked at it and I showed up. Even when other people didn't show up, I showed up. So that was really important for me to do as I was building these workshops. I also gave a TED Talk. A lot of people asked me how that went, very nerve-wracking. And they asked me how you do a TED Talk. So this is how the TED Talk worked out for me. There's a lot of TEDx talks around the country because they've kind of blown up, and speaking has been really popular lately. So they're easy to find one near you, near your city, in your town. Universities have them. And I had someone reach out to me actually and say, you should apply to give a TED Talk at my event. And I was like, why would I give a TED Talk? Because I've seen TED Talks and I'm like, these people are really, really smart and they've got PhDs or they're researchers or they're experts. I'm not an expert in anything. And they're like, yeah, just talk about what you're doing. I said, all right. So I did this video app. I literally submitted at 11:59 p.m. It's due at midnight. I didn't think I was going to get it. But I did. And now I was like, oh crap. I gotta actually give a TED Talk. Like, what the hell? This is crazy. What am I gonna talk about? And I just kind of meditated on it. I was talking to advisors about it. And, the TED Talk ended up being called How I Plan on Disrupting the Automotive Industry in My Red Heels. Bold. Can we talk about bold? I had no clue what I was doing. I still don't, by the way. But here you have this young girl who is telling people she's going to disrupt the automotive industry. She's wearing red heels. I don't have a shop. I don't know one female mechanic, right? And this is my dream that I'm telling everyone. And I'm a little insane because, like, who does that? And that doesn't know where these things are coming from, but is just manifesting. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. And with so much confidence that I'm doing it in a TED Talk to say, I'm here. This is what I want. This is coming, right? I just knew it. I knew that I was capable. I knew that women wanted it. I knew that women were capable of doing this as well. And so that's what really led to me giving such, I feel like, a really powerful TED Talk that has done really well. Everyone brings it up and talks about it. And it really kind of helped me develop this following that I started to get with Girls Auto Clinic. If you want to go to the next slide, Carrie. Also, in these 3 years, I was broke because I was not working anymore as an engineer. So I thought of ways to get money, and business competitions were huge. When Shark Tank came out, everyone was doing business competitions. Damon John was doing business competitions, and I applied for a national competition called Tap the Future. It was with Miller Lite and Damon John. It was across the country. Entrepreneurs in 5 cities. They did semifinals in 5 cities, and we pitched in Philly and won. And so I won $20,000, and I got to go to Chicago with the other 4 winners from around the country. I did not win the finals because I would have won $200,000, but I was very fortunate to win the $20,000. And in fact, Miller Lite asked me to come back several times for this event and to do other promotional videos because they loved my story and my energy on stage. If you go to our YouTube, you'll see the video of me pitching and us winning. And that was a really awesome time. So anything that I could fit into with pitching, business competitions, I was doing. So basically for the next 3 years before the shop opened, I'm telling everybody I'm doing this. I'm having workshops. I'm telling women I'm opening a shop. I'm doing TED Talks. I'm speaking out, letting everyone know it's coming. And behind the scenes, I'm looking for a shop. And I can't find one. I'm all over Philly. I'm looking at places where I can have a shop with a nail salon. I'm hiring all different types of realtors. And 3 places in those 3 years fell through, and ones that I even put some money into. Can I tell you how depressing and sad that was? Each time I'm like, this is never going to happen. I'm out here in a TED Talk telling people I'm going to do this, and I can't make it happen. I can't. For whatever reason, these were falling through. The owner wasn't getting back to me. I couldn't get it zoned properly, just for whatever reason, it wasn't working out. And I started to think, like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And every time one would fall through, I would get into this little depression for like a month where I wouldn't want to do anything. I would even be like, should I just cancel my workshop this weekend? Like, I don't know. I was really sad. And I'll tell you, I'm so glad that they didn't work out because one day I went and I switched it up and stopped using a realtor, and I went with a broker. And the first day I met with this woman, she's like, I have the perfect place for you. And she found what is Girls Auto Clinic today. And I'm glad those other 3 places fell through because I would not have been here and got this place because it's so much better. It's so much of a better location. The building is amazing. And so one of the things that I have learned the most in these 3 years that I was building my brand, looking for the repair center, was just the importance of finding your audience before you launch your business or service, right? I'm talking about this everywhere that I can, having the confidence in myself. So when I do open my business, I already have 1,000 customers. I have women waiting, knocking at the door saying, we're ready for this. It's here. So it was really important to do that. And I talk about that a lot. If you're a business owner out here, you're someone that's in sales, just the importance of connecting and building that relationship. It was that 3 years of doing those workshops. It was partnering with the Girl Scouts doing workshops. It was writing my book. I wrote that book during giving workshops because I was only doing them in Philly, and women around the country were saying, how can I get this information? And the book was first self-published, and I had a publisher, a literary agent, reach out to me who saw my story online and was like, we would love to get you a publishing deal. And that's kind of how my book happened. So one of the things that was really important was me talking about it. A lot of people are scared to talk about their dream, or if it's not actually here, they can't visualize it, they're scared, right? And it was scary. When those shops fell through, I thought people are going to think I'm a fraud. It's never going to happen, right? Because I was talking all my game, all my shit in the beginning, like, I'm going to do this, I'm on TED, right? But I had the faith in myself, and I continued to persist and move forward after all of these failures that I have, and not give up on the dream. And even though, like I said, 2 people are showing up at the workshops, I move forward. This is what I'm here to do, right? I quit my job for this. I can't give up. So I ended up getting a loan with a Black-owned bank. Right now, Girls Auto Clinic is 100% owned by me, no VC money. I wanted to make this as much of a community business and as possible. I did not want this to be like a tech company and giving away a lot of money for VCs. Plus, it was something that's never been done before. So I wanted to see if we were able to do it. And then if it was something that was big and successful, it would give me more leverage if I went to go to get an investment. So United Bank here in Philadelphia gave me the loan. And this was a picture of me opening the door. And this went viral, that picture. It got over like 1 million views on Facebook. But we can go to the next one. So this is the repair center. We've had 4 years, January 6th, that we've been here, and it has been hard. And I can tell you, one of the biggest things I've learned about running a shop is focus. It's me and my 8 staff members, and we have gone through a lot of staff and a lot of ups and downs, which you will with any business. But what's exciting about Girls Auto Clinic, but also can be very dangerous, is that we are very unique. There isn't really another brand out there like Girls Auto Clinic. And so for that, we're highly sought after. People want to do stories about us. There's so many ideas and things that we can do. And I lose focus, right? Right now, it's like we have the workshops, I have the book, I have the repair center, I've got my Chicanic page. Chicanic is what I call my car savvy ladies that are learning more about their cars. They're coming to the workshop, they're getting a book, they're becoming mechanics. We have a private Facebook group for just women on Facebook where we like to learn and share from each other and ask questions about your car and get a response from a woman mechanic. So it's a lot. And I have been traveling all over doing press. You've seen doing public speaking. You've seen me in national commercials on Lean Cuisine, on the cover of People magazine. And ultimately, all that stuff is great and beautiful. And it gets, people like you that see me and you're like, Patrice, this is amazing. We want to hear from you. But what ends up happening is I'm not at the shop. I'm not focusing on my baby. I'm not focusing on the foundation of Girls Auto Clinic. And it's not doing as well because of that, because I'm not focused. And so one of the things that I've learned is that before you go, I know it seems so exciting, all this sizzle, but you have to really focus on your steak. I have an advisor. She says to me, and I wrote it down, you're all sizzle and no steak, Patrice. Because here I have this wonderful business, and it is, and we're doing great at Girls Auto Clinic. But all these other things are distractions, and they take my time away from what's really important, which is building the repair centers, because the goal is to be able to reach as many women as possible. And so I'm reminded a lot by my advisors, and I wrote a Facebook status about this, on saying no to a lot of really great opportunities that I could have. There's a couple of commercials right now that I'm saying no to because I really want to focus on the repair center. We're doing really well right now. We're almost where it needs to be, where I can get out of it and possibly look for investments, looking at other repair centers to open, how we can expand the workshops. It's really my goal to reach every woman driver and potentially every woman in the world with Girls Auto Clinic and our Chicanic brand. If you want to go to the next slide, Carrie.
If I can ask a question, I know I have to wait till the end, but do you have all women working for you? Is that correct?
Yeah. So no, I don't have all women working for me. We initially did have all women, and we got so much slack about that because a lot of the press would say, "Oh, it's an all-woman shop," and people would be like, "That's, sexist." And I'm like, "There's a Midas right next to us, and it's all men, and nobody called an all male shop, right?" So I'm going to give you your problem back. But one of the things that I'm recognizing is not only is it hard to find women techs, it's hard to find techs in the automotive industry. This is a hard business. There's a huge lack of people in the trade fields. Everyone is struggling with it. And I think we know why. And they're trying hard, I think, hopefully, to solve some of these problems with having this gap of in the trade fields, not just automotive industry, where a lot of people are retiring and they don't have as many young people getting into it. And I'm hoping Girls Auto Clinic can start changing the conversation around what it means to be an automotive tech, to really be leading, this movement of getting more women involved, getting more people as automotive technicians, and help filling some of those gaps. So we do hire men because we need guys help as well. We do find a lot of women who are young and novice and don't have as much experience. And so we filled in those gaps at the repair center by hiring some guys. So we have 2 guys that work for us right now. So we're not all girls, but the whole goal is to empower women. And so when we look for interns and for younger technicians, it's usually women. So you want to go to the next slide? I talked a little bit about my media. You can find this on our website, girlsautoclinic.com. One of the things about the press I'm really grateful for, we don't have a PR person, and we get press. Really, what started my press was these free workshops. I got a lot of slack for offering them for free. Tyra Banks told me I need to charge for them. And a couple of people have told me I need to charge. And I was kind of like, no, these are my thing. This is my giving back portion. We still do them once a month at the shop now, no longer in parking lots. But it's what got me my first piece of press. And they reached out to me. And so it's almost like a fire. Once one person hears it, it spreads really quickly once it goes viral. And all of these press outlets reached out to us. We love your story. We want to share it. And again, this has happened to me because of things like being bold enough to give a TED talk about it, doing these workshops, like I mentioned, not giving up and telling people this is what I'm going to do and doing it. Not giving up until I get that shop. And people were inspired by that story. And so they wanted to hear about it. And including my TV show, I was on Terry Gross, Fresh Air, which is really major. I didn't realize how major she was when I went on her show. And I was really nervous after I went on because I thought it was horrible. She's really low and slow with interviewing. And I thought it was going to be a bad interview because I wasn't used to being so calm. But it ended up being one of my best interviews. And Hollywood listens to her a lot because she interviews authors. And I got several offers to do a TV show based on my life. And I ended up going with Patty's Auto. But talk about saying no. My advisor told me to say no to this show, by the way, because she's like, in 2 years, it'll be worth more money. You'll have more time. It's a distraction right now. Like you're not going anywhere. You can say no to these things. It's not really a no. It's like a not right now. But I wanted to do it because I just thought this is too cool. And we actually had a Studio 7 at Warner Brothers. We were the talk of the studio because this cast in the show was the first time they had this many women involved in a TV show, from the showrunner to the director to the line producers, even down to the grips. These women were awesome. You see the pictures where they're dressed up in their overalls, they're wearing their red shoes and their red heels. It was such an inspiring moment to be on set. Elizabeth Banks was really dope. I thought we made an amazing pilot. Fox didn't pick it up because it didn't test well with their male audience, which is okay. It is being shopped around right now. But I think about my advisor telling me to focus and, this is the sizzle. And again, she was right. I wasn't ready for something like this if this came out and was successful. I recognize how a show like this could really be important for women in automotive, especially when we're talking about representation. And this is why Women of Color Automotive Network is here, is representation is really important. And I think a show like this can really change what people think of being a mechanic, being a technician, and what it means to be a woman in the automotive field. So hopefully we'll see more from that coming up. And yeah, so that's kind of my story and where we're at. I'm so excited for 2021. We came out of a rough year with COVID. We lost a couple of techs. Women have been struggling more. It's staying in the workforce with COVID because they have to stay home and watch the kids who are virtually learning. We've lost some people because of that. You can't work from home as a tech, and some even went down to part-time, but it just really wasn't working. So we did take a hit from COVID, but we are finally building our team back up. I'm really excited with who we have right now. And this year, like I mentioned, we're working on expanding the workshops. So hopefully we can reach more women, and we're gonna bring on women techs to do those for us across the country. And I'm also looking at a couple of repair centers. I have been trying to open another repair center for a while. People are asking me, when is it coming? Are you franchising? I would love to. Like I said, I wanna reach every woman driver, but this is hard, like I mentioned, and our biggest weakness right now is not finding customers. We have a great customer base. It's technicians and talent. And so we're really looking for ways that we're going to be able to have a pipeline of talent for Girls Auto Clinic, for recruiting women, but also retaining them in the automotive industry and getting them trained to be technicians or even owners. Ultimately, I'd like to create more opportunities for women to be in positions of influence and power in the automotive industry, which is why I'm here with WOCAN. When I met these 4 or 3 other ladies, I was so excited to meet other women of color in the automotive industry. I felt really lonely being out here by myself. I did get a little bit of hate from people in the automotive industry, which I get because I was an outsider and I was coming in saying, I'm gonna do this. And I was really bold and didn't feel like a lot of people got what I was trying to do or understood where I was coming from, which was really from a place of I wanted to help. I believe that women and giving women the opportunity to be in powerful positions is what's going to really help save our world. I tell people we're not an automotive company. I'm a female empowerment company. I'm here for women. I talk to a lot of big companies that want to work with me, and that's what I say. I align myself with people like a Subaru, right, who understands our mission, who's jumping on our train that says, women are powerful. We're the #1 customer in the automotive industry. We want to pay more attention to them. We want to create more opportunities for them. And I'm here to work with anyone that wants to do that. So that's our plans for the future. And I'm excited to be working more with WOCAN and finding more women and women of color on the automotive side. We have really great diversity on our team. In fact, some companies have reached out to me to talk about how to even bring diversity in automotive repair, because it's very rare to see that. And so I'm excited to be able to be a leader in the repair side of the automotive industry and what it means to be a woman, and hopefully be able to create more opportunities. Not hopefully, like I said in my TED talk, right? I'm doing this. We're going to be opening other repair centers. We're going to be creating more workshops and just reaching as many women as we can. So I went over a little bit, sorry, but I would love to open it up for questions.
Not a problem at all. And I hope you guys don't mind, you gals don't mind sticking with us as we ask some questions of Patrice. There's so many questions that have come in, but as you guys can see, Patrice is bold, principled, like she goes after what she believes in. And you don't meet a lot of people like that put their dreams out there, put their principles out there, and really are consistent in that. So so many comments have come in, and I encourage you guys to add your comments and questions in the chat box. But Patrice, you'll have to read them later, but there's about 1,000 comments that say you're so inspiring, just unbelievable story. One I want to call out is I think it's LJ. I don't know if that's a he or a she, but I'm going to read. I'm so inspired by you. I want to follow your lead. I have a biz name and working on a biz plan, but I am terrified. Mm-hmm. So Patrice, what would you say to LJ?
So I would first think about why you're terrified. What are you afraid of? And usually it's failure. You don't want people to make fun of you. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to look stupid. And you have to address those things, because guess what? You're going to look stupid. You're going to fail. You're going to be wrong. and it's part of the process, right? And so you have to get comfortable with that, and you have to be grateful for your failures. I'm glad for my failures and I'm looking forward to them because I want to get them out of the way soon. I don't want to be a huge company and then be making these big failures. You want to learn from your failures. You want to learn from your mistakes. And so listening to your fear is really important because it can't drive you. You need to understand what's behind that fear, and that's what's supposed to drive you. And using fear as a tool. Definitely. You hear my story. I'm afraid all the time. I was nervous about doing it. Every time I get up and speak, I'm nervous. I was nervous giving this talk. I'm nervous when I get up on stage. I'm nervous every day when I'm in the shop. I want everything to go well. Like I'm scared, but I still do it because I've learned to sit with my fear. I've learned that it's not real. It's just these stories again in my head that I'm telling myself. And that failure is a gift, especially when you learn from it, and to hurry up and get them out of the way. So look forward to them, embrace them. Don't be afraid. Think about what's really behind that fear is what I would tell you.
All right. LJ said she's a female, by the way, just to clarify. Thank you, LJ. I think is it Shawnee says, was it hard juggling working full-time and going to school? This is my current hesitation.
Yes, one of the things that I'm really lucky is I don't have children, because I can't even imagine being able to do something like this with kids. I say Girls Auto Clinic is my baby. And the reason I was able to do both is because you actually have a lot of time. Even when you're working full time, you have a lot of time on your hands to do things. And depending on what your job is, right? I knew that, and I can't believe I'm saying this because there's people from DuPont on this call, but I knew DuPont wasn't like my legacy. So I wasn't taking jobs that were going to require 60 hours of my time, right? I took a job before I went back to school that was in training and development in the engineering group because I knew it would allow me to be able to work an 8:30 to 5 or 5:30 and be able to go to school at night. And that's what I did every day. I went to work and then I went to school, and I was in school 4 days a week. I got off at 10, and then I would go and do my work during lunch, or I would do my work before school, or I would do it late at night. And like I said, I was inspired. I couldn't wait to read my book and learn. I know that I sound like a nerd, but I couldn't wait to learn. And so when you're doing something that's exciting for you, it doesn't feel like work. You want to do it, and you'll want to find time. You'll make time for these things. You'll make it work for you. You hear it all the time, even with single moms. You hear about single moms or people with kids that are going back to school in their 30s and 40s. It's possible. You can do it. It's about managing your time is really important as well. It's one of the hardest things I've learned. People fail most businesses because they don't know how to manage their time. They don't understand how much of their day is structured for them. And when you're a business owner, it's up to you to wake up. It's up to you to make the deadlines. It's up to you to get that stuff done. You have to have very extreme environments around you, or set up environments around you that are going to protect you from being lazy or not getting up and following your procedures or your schedule. That's really one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur.
Patrice, we're getting some advice for you and some ideas in this chat. So you definitely have to read through. One of them was about, are you on Clubhouse? And I got to say, Erica is our resident Clubhouse expert of the group.
She's like, get on Clubhouse, Patrice. I'm like,
begging us.
Again, it's like, there's so many things I could be doing, right? And where do I focus right now? Where's the most important places for me to focus? I would love to be on Clubhouse. Obviously, I love to talk, right? And I love to share and talk with other people who are doing things, who are building stuff, who are smart. So Clubhouse seems like a great place for me, but I'm also like, we are just in the brink of, getting out of our hole at Girls Auto Clinic. We're so fragile. I just want to throw all of my time and energy into that right now, which is what I'm doing. And it's hard. I'm telling you, the sizzle, it's so hard. It's exciting. You want to do that stuff. And the next hottest thing, you want to jump on it. You have this fear of missing out. And I have to have faith to know that my time is coming. When I have the chance, I will get on these things. And if it's not Clubhouse today, it'll be something tomorrow that I can take advantage of, right? So trusting that process.
I'm going to call out one of you to just unmute. India, I see your hand is raised. Are you there? I think it's India. If you're there, unmute. If not, I'll just ask your question. Okay, so India says, have you thought about getting high school girls that are part of automotive? I'm guessing she means like, are you, recruiting out
Yeah.
of high schools?
Yeah, so we definitely, I mean, we go to all the schools and we've talked with them. I speak at them. One of the issues with getting young high school girls is that we can't insure them working with us. So we're working around that. But there's a lot of girls that are also in automotive that are not in high school, that are in like LTI and stuff. And mainly for us, it's like we can't have a bunch of new techs, right, and run a business. I can't have like 5 C techs or right out of high school. It's like maybe one at a time we can take right now. We're really small. I'm a 3-bay shop, right? And we need to make money. I need trained techs. So that's part of my problem, is that I'm not having a hard time finding young girls to work for me. I'm having a hard time finding a trained tech that, can do control arms and, suspension work or fuel pumps. They can diag, check engine lights. Because that's where we're going to make money, not on oil changes, right? So a lot of them, when they're coming out of school, they're learning. So we can only usually take one person at a time, which is what we do. And we kind of have one right now. So I wish I could take more. What we're doing is collecting all of these women who are interested and looking for ways that we can still engage with them today and also in the future.
And then a couple of people, Fran mentioned that you had visited and spoke at, is it Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology? So it sounds like she saw you there. And I think it was Craig who had mentioned, have you considered partnering with a tech school?
Yeah.
And so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we partner with the tech schools. Like I said, I've gone in and even like spoken to the students, even like all the girl students and stuff. So it's mainly about the talent. Like I said, until I can get more experienced techs, I can't hire or intern with the younger girls. But eventually, as we grow, right, this is going to be integral with our business development, is having this pipeline. So as we grow, I'll be able to partner with schools more on a larger scale, create a pipeline. Maybe, and, people have told me, create your own girls auto clinic school, and maybe that's something that we do. But right now, again, it's just me. It's just the one shop. It's me and my staff, and I can't be everywhere and do everything. So right now I need to focus on sales, right? We need to make money, and that's what we're doing right now.
Maria, shout out to Maria. She says, I'm not a tech, but I've changed the control arm and suspension on my own car. So I just want to call her out and give her a couple of snaps there. I'm impressed. More than I can do. A couple questions on your business. One question earlier, and I forgot who asked it, was they asked, how much does it cost to start a business like this?
Yeah, it's very discouraging a lot for people to start an automotive business. Cassie will tell you, because it costs a lot of money, and it's because the tools and the equipment are really expensive. You need lifts, you need a compressor, right? You need drill presses, and even just computer scanners for the cars will cost you $8,000, $10,000 alone. And so if you're not going to buy the property, you're gonna look at spending $200,000 to $250,000 to start maybe like a 3-bay shop. That's a good number and a good estimate to have. It usually costs you 20% more than you think, and it takes you 20% more time than you think it will. So, think about those things. Try to buy stuff used if you can, equipment used. Try to find a shop that may be going out of business and looking to sell their equipment, which is what we did. We were on Craigslist and things a lot. I didn't finance any tools because I got a loan to finance everything together, including the building. We did purchase the building. If you can purchase the building, I would do that. If you can't, right, first purchase the equipment, then try to see if you can purchase the building. And I'll talk to Cassie about that when we have our little mentor talk. But it's a lot of money, right? And so a lot of mechanics like me will start out independent with maybe just 1 bay and eventually grow, because it's hard to just, bam, open up. But because I was doing all of these workshops and I was putting myself out there and doing the TED Talk and winning the business competitions, all that sizzle helped, right? Because the banks were like, we love this business idea. Let's see your business plan. You know, we'll get you money. And I got an SBA loan, actually, an SBA backed loan. You know, from a Black owned bank. So it made me feel good that I was not only be able to like help women, but I'm able to use a lot of programs that are here to help Black businesses, to help women owned businesses, you know, so it's coming full circle, using these resources to help women to build a business that, you know, helps women. So.
All right, and we're going to ask one more question, two more questions.
Yeah.
So one of the questions was, and I'm just going to paraphrase, how important were these workshops you were leading in terms of building your confidence and finding your core market? And as a background, this is Cheryl. She says her business supplies and installs battery chargers for electric vehicles. She's hosted webinars to expose women to the electric vehicle industry and clean tech, but she's not sure how long it will take to build a following.
Yeah. So what was the first part of the question?
So how important were those workshops for
Yeah.
you in terms of like finding your core market?
Right.
And then how, you know, thinking about Cheryl, like how long is it going to take for her to build a following?
Yeah. So, I mean, the workshops were everything. You know, that's what I was mentioning. Doing those for 3 years and was building my brand. After every workshop, I was telling people I'm going to open a shop with female mechanics. Didn't have a shop, didn't have a woman mechanic. But what ended up happening is I started doing more of these workshops. One person would share it, and then 5 people would share it. And then I would have a girl show up and she's like, I'm a mechanic. I want to work for you when you open, right? I didn't have to find, everyone asked me like, how did you find mechanics when you open? Where'd you find women? I tell them, I didn't have to find them. They found me. Every girl that worked for me when I first opened had heard about me and came up to me and said, I want to work for you. And that still happens. I think she might be on the call, one of my techs, Chelsea. She heard about us from LinkedIn and she moved up here from Virginia. She thought this was really dope, and she wanted to come work for us. And I just had another tech move up here from Texas because they saw us online and really was interested in what we did and was looking for a place that they could call home. And she thought that this would be a great place for her and moved up here. So those workshops kicked off all of that. It was really important for me to just be out there to have something. I was giving something away, right? This is the importance of like being able to give something away, being able to share something and share it with passion and it to be useful, right? Like this was something that women needed, that they craved. They were so, when they would come leave a workshop, it would make me so happy because they couldn't wait to take their car in now to a mechanic. They couldn't wait to go home and tell their husband like, oh, guess what I learned, you know, and it was so empowering. And then they would change their air filter or they would jumpstart a car and then they would feel like, what's the next thing that I can do? And so if you're trying to build an audience, you want to give them something that makes them feel confident, that makes them feel empowered, that makes them want to say, what else can I do? It's giving them, you know, that knowledge and confidence that they need. It's going to take a while to build a following. Even with all of our press and we've been all over the place, you know, we're still building our following. I'm still trying to get more, you know, followers on Instagram and stuff. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you have these little blips, right? It's going to look like this. But you got to get started because, you know, I look at my Chicanic page. We now have over 10,000 women in this private group. It's such an amazing group. It's interactive, very interactive and engaging. I don't even really post on it mostly anymore. Just all the people in there are posting and sharing. And it took 4 years for it to get from 0 to 10,000. But it was something that you have to consistently do. If I did not do these workshops every month, even when there was only 2 people showing up, it wouldn't have been this big. Not only, but what you're doing is, and I ultimately knew this, is it wasn't just about the people who came. It was what I was doing, what I was learning, right? I'm writing a book while I'm doing these workshops. I'm learning while I was doing them. I'm still in school. I didn't know everything about cars yet. Doing these workshops was helping me. I was learning. And so not only was I building an audience, I was honing in my public speaking skills. I was learning more about cars. I was meeting women. I was getting right mechanics. So these workshops were everything. And we plan on anytime we open a repair center, wherever it is, we're going to send a street team there, you know, ahead of time doing these workshops, you know, making a call. Women, we're coming, we're here. We're giving you this knowledge. So stick to it. It will take years. Like it's not going to happen overnight. Black Lives Matter took 7 years to blow up. I did a talk at Caterpillar about how to start a movement, right? And the most important thing is showing up and being consistent. And like I said, when it's something that you have the passion for, you're going to be up at 5 in the morning or 11 o'clock at night doing it because you care, not about how many people show up, but you care about making it work.
Yeah, I think it's a good lesson on just being pure to your brand and who you are. It sounds like you're not necessarily doing it just to get the following and fame. You're doing it because it ties to your culture,
Right.
your mission, and your values, and who you really are. And I
Exactly.
think the other thing that was I also learned just in what you said was about culture and the fact that people are moving to work with you. And there was a question, or in the last question I'll bring up, around your culture, and how do you get people to stay at Girls Auto Clinic?
Yeah.
Is it the culture? Is it your mission? Like, what are your thoughts on retaining your techs?
So one of the things that I think about all the time, and my core value as an owner, is to take care of my employees, and my employees will take care of my customers. And so I want Girls Auto Clinic to be a place that I want to work at, that I feel good about being at. And like, if I don't like to work here, why are my employees going to work here? And I'm so grateful for working at a place like DuPont, because I think that they were really good to their employees. And there's so much of DuPont in my business, especially when it comes to the benefits of working here. My staff works 4/10s. I give everybody 2 weeks vacation, like that, which is usually unheard of when you're starting an auto repair, that you get 2 weeks vacation. But that's because I want 2 weeks vacation. And even though I'm the boss and I take vacation whenever I want, if I was working for a place like this, it's what I would expect. So they get all paid holidays, which is usually not heard of. And we do a lot of stuff where we'll close for the day to do fun activity days, or we'll close early. I close the shop early once a month on Saturday to do the workshops, things like that, to where they really feel valued working here. I try to give people as much autonomy as possible. What makes the culture important is the people and the leadership. And so it was about finding the right leaders. I'm not the best at building culture or managing people. I'm an engineer. I like to manage processes. And so one of my favorite quotes is like, good hiring looks like firing yourself. And so I knew that I needed to bring somebody in to help manage my team and my culture that was really good at building those types of things. And I was able to do that. So that's what helps with our culture as well. And it's not easy, right? We still have people who leave because we don't have an air conditioned shop. We're still like a mom and pop. We can't offer some of the pay that the dealerships pay. But we don't do flat rate, so we do pay salary, which a lot of people also like. Our minimum wage has always been $13 an hour. So we'll even start out, people right out of school at that, which is more than where they get at other places. And so I just want to make sure that people feel like they're valued when they come to work. We don't have all of the great training and development that some of the places with the big bucks do, but we're working on it. And, I even offer like reimbursement for training and development, stuff like that, since we don't have our own internal things. So I recognize that we're doing things a little different than other shops do. It's one of the reasons, we haven't been able to expand so quickly. People are like, why don't you just, franchise like a Midas, or hurry up and do this, or Pep Boys is going to steal your idea and, hire women and call it Pep Girls and make it pink. And I'm like, no, it's not that simple. Like, this is a completely different business model. We are hiring women. How women work, how they're incentivized is different. Our customers are different. They want different things. They require different things as women. What their expectation is, the customer is different. And that requires a completely different way of working and a business model. And these companies would have to change their business structure and their leadership from the top down. Change happens from the top down, right? So it's hard. We're learning as we're going on how to build this culture. But ultimately, it was me finding the right leadership to help me build it. I know what the type of culture I wanted to have, and finding those people to help me build it, and then giving our employees autonomy and feeling empowered and valued instead of feeling like they have to scrape for any little thing that they can get.
Well, we are running out of time, but Patrice, I'm going to share all these comments with you. There are so many comments complimenting you on taking a risk and being bold and creating a movement in automotive. So thank you so much, everybody. Give Patrice some snaps. And
Can I just say, every time we do this, now you know what I think of now is where the money resides.
You got to watch that video if you haven't seen that viral video.
Oh no, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, where the money resides. Just Google it. It's a great video. But just want to thank you, Patrice, for being on. Thank you for all your questions. I have one more announcement before you guys leave. And Patrice, there are a few questions we didn't get to, so we'll do our best to follow up on those and make sure Patrice can get back to you on that. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank once again our sponsors, TrueCar and Subaru. We so appreciate you. We could not do this without you. And so thank you for helping us in our movement to diversify the automotive industry. I do want to announce our next speaker for February. And I don't know if you guys are seeing my screen. Are you guys seeing my screen? Do you see a picture? Everybody? All right, so our next speaker, and let me put this in PowerPoint mode, sorry about that. So our next speaker for February 17th is Olabisi Boyle. She is the Vice President of Product and Mobility for Hyundai. And so we want to bring you all kinds of faces in automotive, whether it be in retail, on the manufacturer, whether it be on the vendor side, whether it be on tech, all of that. And so she's going to talk about product and engineering. And so we're really excited. February 17th, look out for the invite for that. And we're really excited. And we just encourage you to follow us, WOCAutonetwork.com. Look out for our emails, follow us on Facebook, follow our Facebook live show. And I don't know, Erica might get us started on Clubhouse. I don't know. She's trying to drag us along and we might end up on Clubhouse at some point. So thank you so much, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you at our next event in February. Bye, everybody.
Bye.